If you've been away for 5 months, my name is Adam.
And if you've been away long enough...
That's good. Yeah, it's like 5 months and long enough.
If you've been away long enough, I must be Aaron.
And this is Kenan and Kel with Adam and Aaron, the podcast where Adam and Aaron talk about Kenan and Kel. I'm Adam.
And I'm Aaron. And Adam, I gotta be honest, the more and more I think back to all of the episodes that we recorded and that we did this, during the pandemic and all the way afterwards, I am amazed. And I'm flabbergasted. I'm perplexed.
Aaron, I have to be honest with you. We have a new Fanta on this program. It's me. I've been like poring over our old episodes just because of how great of a product we generated. It's been long enough that I'm just a full fan.
It's definitely thanks to your editing and masterful job behind the scenes.
Oh, of course.
I kind of just showed up and pressed record. As I was just saying, it's pretty easy to record a podcast. You just show up and press record. But you have to do all the hard stuff.
That's true. And it used to be way easier. The past 4 months I've been dealing with my lovely newborn son.
Woo!
Love him to bits and everything, but not one to make a schedule around.
Yeah. He unfortunately, he's not quite yet a productive member of society. He's still mooching off his parents.
Yeah, so which is fine. I'll happy to have him mooch, but that means that's the podcasting is taking a backseat. He's sleeping right now, so I'm a little more hushed than I sometimes am.
Me, on the other hand, I am still a childless man. And I
no newborns in your life?
No, there were actually. Yes, I was a childless cat man for a while. So we were, my partner and I were adopted by a pregnant stray cat. That's what happens. The cat adopts you. I don't know if you know this. They just kind of show up, and then if you feed them, the law of cat distribution ethics or whatever it is means that you are now the cat's owner. Like everybody said that we took her to the vet. Mm-hmm. They were like, "Oh yeah, you're her owner." We're like, okay. We didn't really know this was going to happen. But yeah, she looked very skinny, so we didn't actually know she was pregnant at first, but we were feeding her outside for like a week. It was in the summer, so it was warm. And then lo and behold, we take her to the vet, and the vet goes, yeah, she's pregnant. She's going to give birth in the next couple weeks. We brought her inside, and the next day she was giving birth. So it was eventful. We had 4 kittens, healthy kittens. She was like, the mom was maybe not even a year old. I mean, she was very small. And it was a beautiful thing that we got to do. And actually just yesterday, we dropped her off at her forever home because I am pretty allergic to cats. So is Camille. I was in denial this whole time. I'm like, this cat is my spirit guide. This cat chose me.
But at the same time, the cat was a menace, a bane to your well-being.
Yeah. She and also the dog. He would just kind of sniff the cat in the wrong places, and it was time.
Yeah, you had to keep a war from occurring.
It was a little bit. I definitely felt like I was meddling in the affairs of the natural kingdom. I don't know. I mean, the cat, she showed up. Her name is Luna. She showed up. She needed some help. We helped her out, and it was a beautiful thing. And it made me think that there wasn't a single Kenan and Kel episode that involved a pet besides Twizzles.
Well, certainly you're forgetting about We Are the Champions.
I'm forgetting about that one.
We Kenan and Kel.
Oh my gosh, it's like I've forgotten everything.
Bring unwanted animal into their lives.
It's like I've forgotten it all.
Yeah, it's tough. One of the things I want to really get into in the future of our Kenan and Kel fandom is about conservation of Kenan and Kel. Aaron, I don't know if you know this, but Kenan and Kel is a limited resource. There's only so many episodes out there, and more streaming services are dropping it. It's no longer on Netflix. It's like barely on Paramount. They have like about 20 episodes. It's not even 2 full seasons. Currently, for any fans interested, BET Plus is a streaming app that has all 4 seasons. I think like 62 of the 64 episodes, more than most people have.
Which is just awesome. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and the quality is like really good. They have the full screen, so it's not like zoomed in, and that it's better than I've ever seen it. So I would love to put an effort forth. If there's anyone out there that already has them, and when the Internet Archive is back up and running, I want to make sure that this show is captured, like for good, and preserved, so that people in the future can watch, listen to our program, but actually see the show somewhere, because there's some episodes that are just not out there.
Yeah, some episodes that you had to watch backwards, sideways on DailyMotion.
Yeah, I had to manually flip them.
They had like Chinese subtitles. Adam, I like that, some men live their whole lives and then they get to the end of their life and they realize that, they won't be leaving anything behind for future generations and the world will soon forget them. And, most, they say most graves go, unvisited after a certain amount of time. Mm-hmm. And people just forget who you were. But our legacy is sealed in stone. Our legacy is encased in a case of orange soda.
I would like to think so.
I would like to just steal. I know we don't have licensing rights for anything that we talk about, but I would like to just kind of do some kind of giveaway. This is just an idea. Maybe we launch it next time. But we give away a bottle of orange soda with something in it. Maybe like it's a very legally acquired DVD copy of Kenan and Kel. I like how I like say it like they're listening. In the future, if you don't hear from me again, it's because they got me.
If they said they delivered a bomb to you in the shape of an orange soda bottle.
The execs, yeah, the bomb. They actually showed up with a cannon, a human cannon.
Nick Cannon.
Nick Cannon shows up to my door.
You better double lock that.
He has an army of children. Sorry, we're getting way off topic.
I will say that is my penance for a great fault that we have committed. There is a piece of Kenan and Kel that we did not watch. We had heard about it from our friend Wesley, and it was rumored to exist, but we didn't put our nose to the grindstone hard enough and track it down. But we have found a lost clip of Kenan and Kel. Specifically, a lost clip of the film Two Heads Are Better Than None. The version that aired on TV for most of its run is just like theme song, but it's mostly just the film's contents. But we learned on the Apple TV app episode, there's like an intro where they're performing in front of an empty audience. There was an outro that was rarely ever seen, but exists for the movie and thus the series, since the movie's at the end of it. Featuring Kenan and Kel in their last on-screen Kenan and Kel appearance, and it's pretty crazy.
Do you think it was cut because of the time restrictions on the TV movie?
I think that's very possible that in the future, to cut it down for like regular cable size, they took that out. It also could be a quality thing. I don't know if it's the best. Well, why don't we watch it right now? And
let's do it.
Wow! Yeah! What's happening? Did you enjoy the show? Answer me! But Kel, there's still no audience. I know, I'm talking to the people at home. People at home, did you enjoy the show? Answer me! Kel! Oh, never mind. Huh? Oh, hey, Kenan, check this out. What are you doing? Man, I'm trying to take my head off, like the guy did in the show. Kel, all that stuff was fake, man. It was? Yeah, the stuff behind the red curtains doesn't really exist. I mean, there's no Rockville, there's no scary house, and there's definitely no headless knights running around. Well, then, who's that? Who's who? Oh! Whoa! Whoa! Stop, Kel! Why don't you grab a whole bunch of stuff and meet me at the cemetery? Oh, my... Wait a minute, Kenan. Did you say meet you at the cemetery or meet you at the ice cream parlor? Kenan, did you hear what he said? Nope. Go!
And that's the clip.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I feel like I remember seeing that on TV.
I had the exact same reaction. I had the somewhere in the back of my mind, like when I watch a Doug episode, and I'm like,
where does it go?
my lizard brain like remembers seeing, especially that night, something about his just form. It hits, but it's a really eerie note, ain't it?
Yeah, it's like not how a show of the caliber of Kenan and Kel should end.
Well, I think it's the same reason why they added like the laugh track to the movie, or some versions of it.
Right.
Where it was like they just realized that Kenan and Kel no laugh track is not good.
It's not that good.
Especially them on stage, no laughs.
So here's something I didn't remember. Kenan's hair in that I mean, I'm thinking that might be the reason they didn't show it. I mean, that is like the most late 90s hair. I mean, but this was recorded in 2000, right?
Yeah. Let's talk about this clip real quick here. So Kenan and Kel come out on stage, and Kel's got a normal outfit on, white shirts, like regular pants. Probably the most normal Kel has ever looked.
Yeah,
and
I was like wearing a sweater.
Kenan's got like his yellow like plaid shirt on, a brown jacket over it, but his hair is done up like Ray buns. Like the Star Wars character.
It's like I've never seen braids in this in this arrangement.
No, and they're like a mohawk of dreads.
But there's only 3. So there's like one at the top, one in the back, and one in like the back. And it's something. I mean, it's kind of cool for like the late 90s, like the turn of the century. It's a turn of the century style.
He looks like a Hey Arnold character is what he looks like.
Yeah, he really looks like a character. It's pretty awesome. I mean, I don't know what this is. Like, do you think they were like, wait, guys, we need to record an outro quick before you leave?
I think they had the idea to have an intro and outro, but I think the eeriness of having no audience really just makes it not work.
Yeah. I mean, what's like the content here? Like,
it also might be like kind of a "don't worry, kids, it's safe" kind of message.
Right.
It's them kind of saying like, hey, all what you just saw it's just a show. It's not real. But of course they, tip their hat and pretend like it's real. Kels tries to interact with the audience, but Kenan reminds him no one's there.
And then Kel tries to take his head off.
Yes.
Like in the movie. And Kenan goes, no, Kel, like, don't you know that all the things, like all these things behind the red curtain aren't real? There's no Rockville, there's no Headless Night,
Yeah.
All that stuff.
He says specifically, Kel, all that stuff is fake, man. Yeah, the stuff behind the red curtain doesn't exist.
Right.
Which is, like, we talked about that throughout our show. It's like, they're in this nebulous space, and he's literally said, that stuff can be real. That stuff can walk out of the curtain just like they do and enter into our world.
Right, and then the Headless Knight shows up right behind Kenan, and Kel is like, Kenan, and points to, and then the Headless Knight touches him on the shoulder.
Kenan says, Kel, why don't you grab a whole bunch of stuff and meet me at the cemetery? And runs off. And Kel says, Kenan, did you say meet you at the cemetery or meet you at the ice cream parlor? Did you hear what he said? Then he does this amazing move. This is the best part of the whole clip, is when he turns over to the knight and does a snap, snap, clap. Like where his head should be.
I like how the subtitles are in Spanish.
Yeah.
Ahí vamos. Oh, wow.
And then the Headless Knight, like, misses his cue. He's supposed to, like, shrug and walk off, but he, like, shrugs twice.
And then he kind of saunters over all, like, spookily.
And when he turns to the side, you can really see how important the framing of this costume is. Because you can just see this giant, like, kind of hunch coming out of his back where the operator of it is, like, kind of crouched down in there. And
it walks off stage, and the spotlight follows it, and it's pretty spooky.
It's spooky because of how there's no audience laughing or clapping, or there's no music. It's just the sounds of him creaking as he walks along.
Oh, Kenan and Kel without an audience, like, that's no way to end the show. They could have done a different ending bit, but they probably didn't have the audience there for this last this last show. Who knows if that was even their set?
Yeah, right. It could have been just fabricated. So I
Well, if you notice, sorry, I'm being a little nitpicky. When Kel claps, there's a huge echo.
yeah,
That's kind of spooky too.
they did it to make it. I know why they did it. They did that from the beginning and end of every Kenan and Kel, but I kind of see why they stopped airing this part. It really
Yeah, it leaves you with an empty feeling inside.
I do want to say, I think if I saw the Headless Knights like this more often when I was a kid, I would recognize it as a work of fiction. Like the kind of big bulbous back where someone's clearly like there. In the movie, it looks a lot scarier with the fog and the lighting. On stage, it's like this is clearly an act.
It's not like true to the style of Kenan and Kel, though. I think that's why it's bothering me.
Yeah.
Because they're not supposed to be up there by themselves. They're up there with the audience behind. And it's a live audience most of the time. I'm sure they used laugh tracks at some points, but the live audience makes a huge difference. It just feels like, it's not how I want to remember Kenan and Kel.
And that was a large part of our review of the show. We're like, the horror spin is not how you want to end the series.
Yeah, it was...
They did a Merry Christmas, Drake and Josh type movie instead to end things on.
Right. That's the world of Kenan and Kel. It's interesting to like still watch how, I mean, Good Burger 2 came and went, and Kel has kind of entered society again in a way. He kind of came back on the stage, and people, when he does release something else, people will kind of be primed for it. I think that's kind of why you do things like this if you're in his situation. But then Kenan is very much like on the front lines of, I guess you could say, like modern media.
Yeah.
He's on SNL. He's on SNL every week, for better or worse.
Yeah, that's the kind of tough thing about it, because SNL is not what I would call modern media. SNL is like an antiquated, like a grandfathered in like comedy form.
I mean, there's a lot of debates about whether it's funny or not. But it's become very politicized, and it's just strange that like I guess Kenan was there throughout the whole transition of like these kind of art forms, which is interesting. I mean, he was there in the early 2000s, right? And then he's been there since it's changed and evolved.
It's one of those things where it's like the next Saturday Night Live isn't something that airs on TV. It's going to be something that grows the kind of content that we watched, which is YouTube and internet video, your TikTok stuff. That's where the new comedians of the future are cutting their teeth.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, podcasts and and sketch comedies. Sketch comedies are still big, but not sketch comedies that are regulated by networks.
Yeah,
it's not a good creative space for people. But I mean, it still is impressive that they produce it every week.
I think it still gets a lot of respect in the industry, but I think the fact that it's had the same showrunner for basically ever, and he's just an old guy that's a little out of touch. I think there's a torch passing that needs to occur for the future.
I think that's about to happen with a bunch of different media outlets.
Yeah, we're about
things are going to start to really shift.
We're in an era where the old guard is gone, and we'll see what happens next.
I mean, there's still some old guards out there holding on for dear life. I like that you go back and listen to our episodes.
Oh, I'm a huge fan. So it's really funny to hear us.
I don't do this very often, but I need to remember this podcast more because we did a pretty remarkable thing. I'm not just trying to gas ourselves up, but...
Yeah, no, Aaron, we made a good show. I think we can safely say that.
Here we are reminiscing again when we're still recording an episode. Okay, there was something else you have.
Yes. Will you please join me at the Fantacam? Over the past 4 months, I've gathered, I think like 9 messages here from people on all kinds of platforms, wishing us well and seeing how it's going and just chiming in. One of the great places that you can do that now is on YouTube. YouTube now allows podcasts to upload RSS feeds directly. So I did that in the time off, and now now all our shows are up there. And again, the word's getting out. People are enjoying it. For example, this person, at Kalo Crawley 5156, said this in response to our episode, House Sitter. This episode is absolute peak of Kenan and Kel, which I replied that, listen, Fenced In is peak, but this is good. Don't worry. Your opinion's respected.
Whenever I think of that episode, I actually get anxious because I just remember the feeling. I was in such a dark place when we recorded that episode. I was like in the bowels of my teaching endeavors.
Listening back, Aaron, it's really funny because in like season 1, you're like, "Ooh, I'm going to be a science teacher," like all bright and shiny. And then there's some episodes where it's like, you do not want to be there at all. Like, you want...
Actually, upset.
The last thing in the world that you want is to talk about a Nickelodeon sitcom. So it's a really fun experience to just jump week to week to week over light times and dark.
Quite the times they were. It's crazy that there's a log of it.
So, Aaron, why don't you read the next one?
Sure. This is from Michelle on Apple Podcasts. And they go, love it. I say in Kel's voice. I just found this podcast recently and I am in love, all caps. I can't stop listening. My sister and I are huge fans of Kenan and Kel. We have been watching since we were little and we are 29 and still watching. Didn't know there was anyone out there still as obsessed as we are. Oh, thanks, Nishili. I love it. Yes. Siblings watching this show together. That is how it's supposed to go. Adam, I'm thinking that I need when I have a home one day, I just want to have a room with a big box TV, and I just want to have
it just playing 24/7.
I just want to have that be the only thing there.
My goal is to get a nice download of it somewhere where I can.
I would never do this, but do you think hypothetically we could hire somebody to steal it for us? Like a
listen,
a Black Ops Kenan Kel.
I would not use the word steal, and I would not use the word hire. But
okay. Well, listen, I know. I obviously there's people out there who would love to also have that, but no. I'm thank you, Nishili, for the comment. Keep leaving comments, people.
We've had a lot of comments, big and small. This is one that we have that it was from someone named AIEX in response to backstage at Kenan and Kel. It just says ick, but thank you for saying that.
Ache. Yep, thank you. Ache, like you're aching. Is that a different language, you think?
Maybe it means that it's an anagram that I don't know. Maybe it's this person's too much of a cool kid for me.
That's so advanced. I've never seen that. Slang, internet slang. Here we go. As I know.
Doesn't really help.
Still doesn't make sense. Still doesn't make sense. As I know. All right, from Jackson. Hi, Adam and Aaron. My name is Jackson. I love your podcast of Kenan and Kel. They are the funny, and that show is the funniest show I have ever watched. 3 questions and a ask. Are you... This one's really good. Are you... This is the first question yet. Are you and Aaron... Are you, Aaron, and Adam still alive?
The answer to that question is
yes. Question 2, a little bit more complicated than question 1. Is the podcast still a thing?
Yes, still a thing.
We also did the entire show, so the third question, did you guys get an interview with Kenan and Kel or the cast of the show? That's a good question.
Great question. And question 4, can I get a shout out? And yes, you can, Jackson. Shout out.
Let's make those happen. Here's something I would like to manifest right now, Adam, if you will. I would like to be friends with Kel Mitchell. I think I can do this.
I think that's an achievable
I can pull it off.
Yeah.
In my next podcast, which is coming soon, I would definitely like to talk to him about his faith journey. That's definitely interesting to me. So I just want to be friends with him. So I think it's going to happen, and we'll get there. Thanks, Jackson, for the gentle nudge.
Okay, next we have a comment here from Matt in response to Good Burger 2, worth the watch? I give it a 9. Maybe it's the nostalgia, but I loved it. Some jokes didn't land, ending was kind of predictable, Josh server part was hilarious, but not really realistic. But overall, I loved it. Thanks, Matt. Everyone out there, please send us more messages.
Yes, please do.
Next, we have an email here from Michael P. Michael P. has sent us stuff in the past, claims to be the #1 Fanta.
All right, from Michael P. Hey, Adam and Aaron, I love your podcast, and I'm glad you're still finding content to discuss. I just recently saw Good Burger 2, and while I enjoyed it, I did have some issues with it. My main one being Monique never being mentioned. Good Burger ended with Dex and Monique as a couple, and to not include her in Good Burger 2 or even mention what happened to her seemed odd. The scene in Ed's office where they look at the pictures of the old crew, which included Monique, was the perfect opportunity. My second issue was Mr. Jensen's feelings for Mia kept being comically brought up in the movie, and I thought that was going somewhere, but the movie ends without that ever being resolved. I wish Lester Oak's construction worker made an appearance too, and the story of how Ed bought Good Burger was changed to include Mr. Bailey selling it to him. Other than that, I enjoyed the movie. Keep up the good work. Sincerely, from your #1 Fanta, Michael P. Michael, thanks for being our #1 Fanta.
It's really funny. No one claimed that position. It was 105 episodes, and no one's called it.
Michael, you're the one. And to honor your new role as the #1 Fanta, we would ask you to please send us your favorite episode list, top 5.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good incentive if you want to maintain your title.
Yeah, you're going to now have some work to do. Mm-hmm. It's a top 5 and bottom 5. We want to hear your bottom 5 too.
Yes.
Top 5, bottom 5, middle 5. That's your middle 5. No, I'm just kidding. Median. I want your median episodes. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, but you can send us whatever you want, Michael. We will.
Thank you. Okay, so next we have a Spotify comment from O. Been listening to y'all guys since 2021, except they didn't say guys.
Ah, sweet. Cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so thank you very much for that, O. We also have a comment here from Penelope in response to Kenan Kel guest on Clifford the Big Red Dog.
All right, from Penelope. Bro, I love this show.
I'm not quite sure what show she's referring to, whether it's ours or Kenan Kel proper.
Don't worry about it. Don't even ask. Don't ask. Don't ask which of the 3 shows. Might just be Clifford. Thanks for commenting, Penelope. Hey guys, comments make a big deal. So even if you're just listening to this now, go back to an episode and comment. We love reading them.
Yeah, especially now that they're all on YouTube. You can just hop on there and look up your favorite episode.
You know what you can do is you can actually just play our podcast on repeat. On YouTube. Just keep it on in the background whenever you're doing anything, whether you're cleaning the dishes, washing the car, washing the dog, sleeping. You could actually just loop it as you're sleeping. And then maybe if we get enough thousands of people that do that, we can make some money off of it.
Yeah, or, don't.
It's not. What I like is that these episodes will be up for all time.
For always in eternity. Yeah, that's right. So at the bottom of our Phantom mailbag, we have something here from Bobby. Bobby has sent us stuff previously, including a picture of his childhood yearbook, and shown off that Kenan Kel's always been a top priority of his. So he says, "Hey guys, I asked ChatGPT 4.0 to write me a full-length script for a Christmas episode of Kenan Kel. It didn't want to, so I had to coax it. Well, anyways, enjoy." And he sent a couple pages of this ChatGPT for prompt. I don't know if I've talked about it on the show, but I'm really, really against the language learning models. I think what they produce isn't anywhere near the quality of a good fan writer. But I also haven't put any Kenan Kel pen to paper myself. I think if you want to enjoy a really good Christmas episode of Kenan Kel, watch the Christmas episode. Don't have a computer write it up.
All right.
I think human writing is always going to be superior. But let me put my money where my mouth is. tune in sometime in 2025, and I promise you'll hear some Kenan Kel penned by yours truly.
You certainly can try as you drink your water, you little robot.
Okay. I mean, like, yes, we use water.
How many bottles of water do you need a day?
Okay.
We will have an episode next month, I believe, right?
Well, it'll be this month by the time this episode comes out. Hopefully before the new year. We'll be revisiting doing things the Hemingway and reporting back on our life goals that we set back in January.
And I will say, if there's any incredibly wealthy Fantas out there who are looking to get a tax deduction in the United States of America for your year-end giving, please consider donating to Water is Life Kenya. That's all I'll say about that. You can find us at waterislifekenya.org. Only if you have large sums of money and you just happen to be a Fanta. I know you're all out there killing it and doing your best, but if not, donate, support the charity that I give my life to. I think that's all we have for tonight.
Yep, that's right. Take us home.
Until next time, everyone. Here it goes.
Thank you for listening. You can send us an email at KenanKelPodcast@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at anchor.fm/KenanKelPodcast. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all at Kenan Kel Podcast.